All right. Well, we got done with the Karrion Kross video, which was a great video, by the way. But now we're back to this. So we're not going to waste no time. We're going to let this video ride out. So let's go ahead and get started.
Well, another week of Raw and another garbage episode of Monday Night Raw. Okay, the fact is, this show is obviously, like I've been saying, it's unwatchable. Therefore, I shut it off an hour or so before it's probably going to end, or maybe even more than that, depending on when the show actually ends. I don't care about the main event of Punk and Knight versus LeBron James. Nobody wants to see that, man. There's no storyline here. There's no through line. What? CM Punk and LA Knight are at odds. So Triple H, who has no creativity and also wasn't even at the show. I took this screenshot. I took I opened it up on Netflix and paused the freeze frame as EO was headed to the ring and took a picture of it on another phone. And you can see Triple H is not even in Gorilla while the show is taking place. So where is he? You know what I'm saying? Like, where is he? Is he in the White House like he was a couple weeks ago? You know, booking garbage? Or you ready for garbage? For higher prices? For higher prices with bad booking? That is what Triple H is offering you at this point. And the funny thing is that while all of this is taking place, every single segment as it gets announced and as you go through the night, you can tell how predictable and how lifeless things are going to be. Roman Reigns isn't there. John Cena isn't there. The Rock isn't there, which he never is, but you get the point. Obviously, with Cena and Roman not being there, nobody cares what's happening on this show. Be real with yourself for a second. Do you care who wins that main event tag match? I have not seen the match yet, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that LA Knight and CM Punk are either going to win the match clean by beating Brunson, or they're going to, and then, you know, if they do that, they're going to get beat up after the match by Rollins, Bronson, and Braun. Or CM Punk and LA Knight, versus Braun and Bronson are going to end in, it's going to end in a DQ, and they're going to all brawl at the end, and maybe Roman will come out, or they'll all just get stomped out by Rollins and his faction. It is predictable garbage. This is not main event level storytelling if it's the same segment happening every week. None of these guys have any charisma or connection. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker have no voice. Bronson Reed, I will say this, at least is trying something with a character gimmick. They were even chanting Shula Fala during the promo tonight that Heyman was doing, because Bronson Reed is actually doing something creative, and it's kind of funny. And then Braun Breaker had his moment where he said that Punk and Knight can't do nothing because they're 100 years old combined, and that they're all old, they can't beat them up. So that was pretty funny. However, outside of that, they don't really have a voice. I like how they gave Bronson Reed a little video package, but they don't do that for Braun Breaker because Braun Breaker is a one-dimensional character. And because of that, it's hard to actually believe in him as what they call him as the future of the WrestleMania main events. I'm like, last week Rollins said he was the future. Then Brunson was the future. Then Braun Breaker's the future. Then Rollins is the future. Then Heyman's going to be with the future. Then Braun's the future. Then LeBron James. Then LeBron James Jr., Bronny James. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just keeps on going. What are we doing? At the end of the day, this show is absolute garbage. There's zero creativity, there's zero effort, and Triple H isn't even backstage booking the show. So who is making these shows? Triple Fraud is sending notes over to his buddies to go book the show while he's not even there. And this needs to have attention brought to it. Where is Triple H? That's my question. You guys remember they used to do the classic walkouts last year? Was a new little editing technique where they showed the superstar walking from Gorilla into the actual, arena, you know what I'm saying? That was their thing. Now they don't do it, probably because Triple H isn't embarrassed about not even being backstage for these shows. So that's it. I don't want to be that guy as well, but I do have to bring up the fact that, obviously with Karrion Kross being released yesterday, I'm saying him and Scarlett got released. But the point is, I saw some people saying on Twitter that, like, tonight in Quebec, we rise, we take over, I'm saying, we want Kross and all that stuff, and how it was trending yesterday and all that other stuff. And then tonight while I was watching Raw, I may be mistaken because I did shut it off like an hour and some change early, but I did not hear any we want Kross chants at all. Like, there was immediately we want Truth chance multiple shows after he got released, so they had to bring him back. But I don't see that kind of outreach and outrage, I'm saying, for Karrion Kross. So it looks like he's likely going to probably stay released because it seems like nobody cares, I'm saying, the actual live audience.
I mean, there was only 2 signs, and that was it. But that just lets you know right there that there's a difference between internet and reality. I mean, I even told y'all, like, with the Live and Dom, have you seen anybody with a Live and Dom sign? Have you even seen anybody with a Live and Dom shirt? You know what I find very disrespectful? When every time I go on the WWE Merch website, they say that Live and Dom shirt is the most popular and it's like number 2 selling on the list, but nobody's talking about it. Nobody's shouting it out. Nobody's wearing the shirt. And it's just, at this point, do we really believe that people are really buying this shirt when nobody's wearing it? Not even the bloggers are even wearing it. and nobody's going outside wearing it, that lets you know right there that all this is all cap. You know what I'm saying? So, I listen, Kross, your best bet is to stay away from WWE, okay? Until Triple H get fired and TKO separate themselves from the company, you're just going to have to do indie work until you realize that TKO don't want you, man. Okay? They don't. It is sad that the fans in real life ain't really screaming your name like that, but you're not R-Truth. You know, R-Truth has a popularity. You only have a popularity on the internet. While versus with Truth, he has popularity all across the globe. You know what I mean? Real life and the internet. You get what I'm saying? I mean, you're still able to go to the store and get groceries. Versus with Truth, he might get stopped maybe once or twice, you know, get a picture and whatnot. So that's the difference. So, like I said, just do what Shotzi is doing and just do a little bit of indies, you know what I'm saying? Until you decide where you want to go. But I would recommend AEW. You know what I mean? But you don't have to go right now. But at some point in the near future, you want to go because they're still able to be televised and you got creative control. So you can do whatever you want over there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, take some time and think about it, you know. But I would really love it if you would go to AEW, you know. But we'll wait on that, you know what I mean? Just stick with indie work until you can get, you know, right, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, that's unfortunate that nobody's screaming we want Kross, but I think it's for the best because, honestly, I don't want him back. Not with the rate that WWE is in right now. You know, I'll be damned if they call him and, you know, and then he don't even decline it. He just take it because he want the money. It's like, bro, just move on, all right? You'll be a lot better if you just move on. So please do that, all right? But let's continue.
You know what I'm saying? They weren't in America, though, I believe, for tonight's show, so maybe something will change if you change the demographic and you change the market, but it looks like everyone has basically already moved on, so, you know, that's pretty much that. And so with that being said, let's jump into the review of what I've seen so far, because like I said, I shut it off an hour in advance, so I stopped watching after the Roxanne Perez, who pinned Io Sky. Io Sky was just a women's world champion and had, 2 defenses in 4 or 3 months, and it was against the same person in Rhea Ripley. It's the same match every single time, and now all of a sudden, she loses the belt, and now she's wrestling again, just to get rolled up by by Roxanne Perez. When is the last time you've seen Rhea Ripley lose a singles match clean that didn't involve a championship? It doesn't happen. Triple H is protective over the people he cares about, and everyone else, I don't care how talented you are, you can get rolled up and pinned no matter what. You were just world champion? Cool. Take this pin. That's all it is. So we'll get to that later in the video, but that's not the point. This show sucks, okay? It just is what it is. There's nothing to talk about with this opening segment, okay? It started off with CM Punk coming out and basically saying the same thing he's been saying for the last year and a half since he came back. I have a Seth Rollins problem. Wow, man, did you guys know that CM Punk and Seth Rollins have a problem with each other? Well, I didn't, because on WWE Unreal, they were shaking hands and coming up with ideas for how the matches would go. So I don't know what this is. It's an absolute travesty to actually sit here and have to, be saddled with the same Rollins and Punk, and all these people are doing the same things every single week. Can we get some creativity? Can we get some nuance? Can we get some actual quality content? No. What we can get is CM Punk coming out to the ring and saying he has a problem with Seth Rollins and that he's hungrier now than ever to win a world title. And he literally says the words, I'm going to take back that title, which means he's going to take back his title that he never lost. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what he's going to do, similar to Rhea Ripley, okay? So now, after he says that, LA Knight then comes down to the ring. He basically says that he has a Seth Rollins problem as well, and he tells Punk to get to the back of the line, and after he wins his he beats up Rollins and gets his piece, he's going to have 2 things for Punk. Number 1 is he's going to be LA Knight's first successful title defense, and number 2, he says to stay out of his way, yada, yada, yada. There were some decent moments in this segment. It was kind of entertaining at moments, but a lot of it felt kind of redundant like halfway through and all the way to the end of the segment. As they're about to finish up their lines, because CM Punk basically says he's the best in the world, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He brings that up, obviously. He tugs on LA Knight's jacket, and he's like, yeah, you'll be seeing me real soon, you know what I'm saying, if you keep it up, basically, is the long story short of it. Then Paul Heyman basically comes out. Paul Heyman comes out with the tribal thief, the Shula Fala master himself, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker, they both come out there on the ramp. Paul Heyman warns CM Punk or LA Knight, to not do a favor with CM Punk, because the favor that you will do with CM Punk will cost you years of your life, years of your career. It'll cost you your tribal chief. And I'm like, no, it didn't. There was no real reason for Heyman to side with Rollins at WrestleMania. If you didn't want to hurt Punk or Roman, just walk out and leave. So what are you talking about? You can make favors with Rollins, with Roman, and with with Punk, but all of a sudden you're warning everyone else not to, man. That triple threat at Mania this year is going to go down in history as one of the most meaningless and worthless triple threat matches of all time. You know, fans will be blinded by, the match had multiple great spots and it was entertaining, which it was an entertaining match if you exclude the story and you're just watching the in-ring. Yeah, the match was solid, but if you actually incorporate storyline and build, this match was bad. The whole feud was bad. It's as simple as that, man. Yeah, you can be entertained here and there. There's some cool spots in the match. I'll admit I've rewatched some of the cool spots will come up in clips sometimes. But if you actually think that this match had a great story, I don't know what to tell you at this point. It's just ridiculous, man. And then obviously, because of this, Paul Heyman basically says that, we're going to do a tag match now. It's going to be Brunson and Braun versus you two. And then LA Knight basically says, no, you don't answer for me, Punk. We're going to do a tag match. Yeah. And then Punk says, no, you don't answer for me. We're going to do a tag match. You're going to do a tag match. I'm going to do a tag match. You're going to do a tag match. I'm going to turn the show off, and I turn the show off. That's basically what this is, man. We then get a tag match with I was going to say Paul Heyman. We get a tag match with CM Punk and LA Knight versus Brunson Reed and LeBron James for the main event of tonight on Raw. Again, I am so tired of the lack of creativity or ability to book anything engaging or interesting or entertaining. Not Paul Heyman. I almost said Paul Levesque. You know what I'm saying? I get them confused sometimes. Triple H basically has no creativity, so you will see a bunch of empty tag team matches. Remember last year at Bad Blood when we had Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa for literally nothing other than for The Rock to come out at the end, and because Roman Reigns is back wrestling again, so obviously he main events the show. That's all it was, and Jimmy Uso came back as well. Then at Crown Jewel, we had a meaningless 3v3 with Jay, Jimmy, and Roman versus Solo and Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Went nowhere, nobody cares. We had a meaningless triple threat match with Roman, Rollins, and Punk. The story leading into it was garbage. It didn't really matter who won the match. Let's say Roman won the match, what would have changed? Let's say Punk won the match, what would have changed? Let's say Rollins won the match, what would have changed? All three of them, or at least Punk and Rollins, are looking for world championship gold with or without that match, with or without Heyman. So what changed? Rollins was champion before Heyman and he's champion after. So that's why, you see what I'm saying? That's why this whole dynamic in this faction makes no sense, because it doesn't change anything. Rollins was champ for over a year of the world champion, you know what I'm saying, before Paul Heyman came there. So why in the heck would it matter that Paul Heyman is with him now? Well, what the heck, bro? And then obviously over the summer alone, we had John Cena and Logan Paul versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, which immediately went back on literally on the last episode of SmackDown. We saw John Cena fighting against Logan Paul now. None of this makes any sense. All of these matches are just thrown together. We had the Bianca versus Rhea versus Io. Rhea cries her way out, and then she gets a championship match for it. None of these matches have any story, no build, no creativity. All it is, literally, is simply just a situation where you basically have to throw a bunch of people into the same match because Triple H has no creativity and doesn't want to give us what would be the best option. The best option would be Knight versus Punk versus Rollins versus Roman in a fatal four-way for the world title at Clash in Paris. Just think about that match on paper. And even though Roman Reigns last year did call the World Heavyweight Championship the B title, because that's what it was. Obviously, Roman's going to say that, he was the WWE main champion, obviously, the head of the company. He still is, obviously. So whatever championship he has is the A title. It's like when he had the Universal Championship and the WWE title was bouncing from Lashley, to Orton and Drew McIntyre. All those other people had it, and Lesnar even had it, obviously, until Mania 38. Roman Reigns' championship was obviously the number one title. So therefore, if Roman does win the world title, he will be taking everything from Rollins, and he actually will be the number one champion in the company. And that's just what it is. That would be the best booked match. It would give LA Knight something to do. And maybe you could have LA Knight win because Rollins and Roman and Punk are so focused on each other that LA Knight gets a free avenue to get the W. That would be something actually interesting and engaging and exciting. Seeing those four stars go at it at Clash in Paris with a hype France crowd, that would be sick. But instead, what you're likely going to get is a triple threat tag match that nobody cares about. Why would I care if LA Knight, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns can coexist to win a meaningless match when Knight and Punk are fighting for something that they already want? They want the world title. So what does this tag match further if they both win it as a team? The booking sucks. Let's just move on. We then move on to a really good match, actually. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano. This version of him is actually Ludwig Kaiser, obviously. And then, what's it called? It's him and Dominic Mysterio. There were some fun spots here. Dominic Mysterio and Ludwig Kaiser were putting, like, the little, like, rock stone in their mask and, like, hitting people with headbutts and stuff like that. Dragon Lee was absolutely amazing in this match. He hyped the crowd up, had great athleticism, obviously. The crowd was digging it, man. There was a 6-shot, too, where Dragon Lee got, like, thrown off of the top rope and went, like, flying onto the sideline and no one saw him. It was really entertaining. Obviously, AJ Styles got rolled up by Ludwig Kaiser after Ludwig cheated. After Dominic rolled him up after he cheated using the little stone thing. And that was the situation with that. Basically, the situation is nobody cares about any of this. This match was entertaining, don't get me wrong, but again, it doesn't matter about the results of this. This was just a fun little match to entertain, and that's what it did. And I had no real complaints with it. I actually enjoyed the match. I thought it was entertaining, had a bunch of fun spots and fun moments with great displays of athleticism and good match choreography. This was just a really, really good Raw match, in my opinion. So, yeah, easily the best part of the night, in my opinion, by far. Then we move on. We got Sami Zayn versus Rusev. I mean, like, just think about that for a second. We got Samuel Zayn versus Rusev. Like, what are we doing at this point, man? Nobody cares if Sami Zayn can topple Rusev. And then the match ends with Sami Zayn getting beat up by Solo and his family, which again, Sami Zayn said he wants to be a world champion. So why in the world would he involve himself in a feud with Rusev and Sheamus? Don't even break him up, just walk away. It's not your job to fix everything. This is why Sami Zayn's character has become redundant and boring. I don't care if he can beat anyone. I don't give a crap who he beats unless he's fighting for a championship, because his character is boring, it's redundant. You're an underdog. You fight against the people who are, bullied in WWE. You're like the guy who sticks up for the little guy. Nobody cares. The story's redundant. Move on and give him something else to do. If he's not going to go for the world title, then have him go fight Solo for the U.S. Championship at this point, like next week or the week after that. I'm done waiting with all this nonsense, man. Sami and Solo have been fighting each other since 1982. Why in the world would I care about this? So what? Solo Sikoa and his MFT are going to fight against Sami, and Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu are going to help Sami win a belt that they were competing for. Yeah! No! Now we move on. Because, by the way, that match ended with Sheamus and Rusev brawling. Okay, it ended in a DQ after Sami got beat up by Solo in his MFTs, which are just absolute jobbers at this point. And then, obviously, Sheamus and Rusev brawl like they usually do. Let's move on from that. We then got, I think this is when we actually got the Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky match. The reason this took place is because Naomi was not medically cleared for competition tonight. I'm either sure that they're going to turn this into a Bianca Belair probably beat her up or something like that storyline, and Bianca randomly returns next week or something, or Naomi may have just actually been legitimately hurt and she just couldn't wrestle this week, but she'll still be fine for Clash in Paris in a couple weeks. Either way, I don't care. I don't see the point of this match. Now you basically have a situation where Io Sky got rolled up by Roxanne Perez. And as I explained earlier in the video, this doesn't make any sense. Why in the world would Roxanne Perez be rolling up and pinning the woman who is just a world champion? It's just disrespectful. If you wouldn't do it to Rhea, you wouldn't do it to Tiffany, you wouldn't do it to other people, why are you having Io Sky get rolled up by Roxanne Perez? And why are Asuka and Kairi Sane now feuding against Io Sky? Like, none of this stuff is entertaining. Nobody even cares about any of this stuff, even if it does make sense or if it doesn't. It doesn't matter. No one's entertained by this. Io Sky and Roxanne had an okay match. I'll give it that. It was a decent match. Nothing to knock your socks off. But man, what was the point of this?
I mean, what was the point of this tweet? I mean, we all know that Naomi's not and we all know that Naomi's not hurt. I mean, she was just doing fine 3 days ago, and then all of a sudden this come out. Man, I don't believe this one bit. This is all for work. But again, whatever route they're going for this, I don't know what it. I don't know. Just don't mess up the match between Naomi versus Stephanie. Don't mess that up. So we'll wait, but I really don't think she's hurt. But let's continue.
Like realistically speaking, what would have been the plan if she were to fight Naomi? Let me guess. This is my brutality. And Rhea Ripley comes out and fights and announces that she's going to take back her title that she never lost. Yeah. This is my brutality. I'm going to take back my title that I never lost. Yeah. No. Yeah, man. This is peak. No. It's garbage. I don't give a crap if Io Sky beats anybody, man. Nobody wants to see that crap. It's over at this point. You had your chance to give Io Sky a great midterm length title reign, and instead you gave her a garbage reign where she had 2 or 3 defenses, and they were against the same woman because Triple H is biased towards Rhea Ripley. That's all it is. Now let's move on. We then got Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. I don't even think this is worth even talking about at this point. Maxine Dupree has not wrestled a match on TV probably in like a year or maybe more than that, and she comes out here basically to lose and get tapped out in 5 minutes. And the whole match story of it was basically Becky Lynch telling Maxine that she doesn't belong in the ring, she's not ready for this moment, and then that was basically the story. It's like a rookie fighting a veteran, and the veteran just absolutely destroys them by like a million. It just is what it is. No Nikki Bella even showed up after this match either. There was no Nikki Bella. So what even was the point of any of this? You get what I mean? Like, at least I thought it would further that, but it doesn't even do that. So I've had enough of this absolute garbage. I don't give a crap. And then we got our main event match, which was obviously Bronson Reed and LeBron James Jr. versus, who was it? I think it's CM Punk and LA Knight. So I finally caught up. I saw the situation with that. Basically what happened here is that the match ended in a DQ. As I predicted earlier in the video, the match ended in a DQ because Seth Rollins got involved. All of this stuff is predictable and it's garbage. Nobody cares whether Seth Rollins gets involved or doesn't get involved in a Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and LA Knight match. It's ridiculous. So Seth Rollins gets involved and beats up CM Punk temporarily, and then instead of getting the OTC to come out, which again, the OTC is advertised, you know what I'm saying, for for Clash in Paris. So I don't know why they would advertise him for that, and also for the next 2 episodes of Raw after this episode, obviously, that I'm currently talking about. I think he's advertised next week and the week after for Raw as well. So why in the world is he on the next 2 Raws and at Clash in Paris if he's not involved in the match? Because it's been officially made by Adam Pearce after this, DQ thing, and they beat up each other. Jey Uso comes out first of all and with a steel chair, and he stands there with Punk and Knight, and then they beat the crap out of Rollins and his faction, and they just run away. So basically, if Jey Uso and a steel chair come out there, and 2 other people who are working together go out there, they can beat Rollins' new faction. So now Rollins' new faction looks like a bunch of jobbers that they already are, and that's just what it is. This is the booking that they are creating. This is what Triple H is giving to you. Not what I'm telling just making an opinion about. This is what they're doing. So that's the situation there. Adam Pearce then makes a match official for Clash in Paris. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Fatal 4-Way for the World Heavyweight Championship. Aren't you so excited for that, man? Yeah! Awesome size. Like, bro, I'm willing to literally bet you that nobody wants to see this. Like, let's be real with ourselves. And if I find out that Roman Reigns has genuinely now been taken off of the Clash in Paris card and isn't going to show up the next few weeks on Raw, you know what I'm saying, in favor of Jey Uso to get a World Championship rematch, which again, Roman Reigns never got his rematch for the title he held for 4 years. He didn't get a rematch. So why is Jey Uso getting a rematch for a belt he held for a month and a half? Why did Gunther randomly get a rematch for his World Championship? You know what I'm saying? Io Sky randomly got a rematch after the SummerSlam deal. Rhea Ripley got multiple rematches after the, literally everything. But all of a sudden, Roman Reigns didn't get his rematch. It's like, this booking is so inconsistent. It's so bad. After this match is announced, Rollins and his faction beat up Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso some more. Rollins and his faction stand tall, and the Vision now stands tall. Like, nobody cares. What is their vision? What, absolute power? You have absolute power now with a number 2 title? A world championship that was held by Jey Uso, Damian Priest, and Gunther is now absolute power? You're holding the same belt you were 2 years ago and you didn't have absolute power, but because you have 2 jobbers helping you out, now you got power. Dude, this faction stinks. This episode of Raw was complete and utter garbage, and quite frankly, it's going to go down as one of the worst Raws of the year, and that's saying something because every Raw besides maybe a few this whole entire year have been pretty dang on bad, if not garbage. You get what I'm saying? And so this is definitely in the garbage tier, if not below that. It gets a 2 out of 10 at best. This was just nearly unwatched. I mean, I shut it off an hour and some change before. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason for that. So this is just garbage, man. I don't know what else to say. Nothing makes any sense. Nobody wants to watch any of this stuff. Are you seriously content with the main events and the product that they're giving you, the storylines that they're giving you, the quality that they're giving you? It's all trash, and everyone knows it. So let's stop pretending like it's good and call it what it is. Raw sucks, SmackDown sucks, and the average PLE is mid or bad at best. Those are the best. 90% of the PLEs this year have been straight up bad or garbage, and then a couple of them have been decent/mid at best. And that's a simple fact. There's been no PLE this year that has been genuinely great from start to finish, and there has not been maybe more than a few Raws or SmackDowns that have been great from start to finish. And that is a shame, and that is embarrassing. And I normally would blame it on Triple H, and I'm still am because he's a fraud, but at the end of the day, he wasn't even backstage, so who even knows who's making the shows now? Thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Let me know what you thought about Raw in the comment section below, and as always, peace out and one love.
Well, don't forget that Triple Mania is this Saturday on YouTube, and I will try to go live for that. Also, AEW Dynamite is this Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You will be seeing Adam Page and MJF have their little face-to-face Might be a contract signing. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Also, Edge versus Big Stoke, aka Stokely, and also Jon Moxley versus Kevin Knight. So, he's if you don't know what Kevin Knight is, he's part of the group called Jet Speed with Speedball. So, Jon Moxley will be facing him, and I don't know if Darby Allin will be coming out, but I'm just gonna assume he will. So. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, hey, listen, Monday sucks, but Wednesday don't. So, y'all get ready for that, all right? But get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. Also, Tuesday night will be a tag team match with Jesse Jane and Phelan Henry teaming up to go against Laura Vice and Kalani Jordan. I don't know if Jasmine's going to be by their corner, but I will be doing an NXT review after NXT after 10. So I'm going to start doing NXT reviews for the next couple Tuesdays until I can get my following up on Instagram. So make sure you guys scan the QR code to follow me on Instagram, so that way we can get back on, the live streams and whatnot. But I will be going live after 10 o'clock to do NXT review, so make sure you guys tune into that, and I'll see y'all then. All right? Get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new, and I'll catch y'all in the next video, all right? I'm out.